Lakers redeemed themselves after an embarrassing loss versus the OKC Thunder a few days ago, man. Blowing a 26-point lead to lose was just awful, Laker fan. It was a rough start to this game, but shit, hey, when you decide to play defense, Laker fan, hell, you just may win the game. Oh, man. Welcome to the Lake Show. I'm Tony. The Lakers win 113-101 versus the Cavs. It's your boy Tony giving you the game recap and takeaways from this game. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Let's chop it up and get into this game. So some key points to the game that I noticed, Laker fam. Rondo and Russ minutes were not exempt in this game. Well done, Vogel. Well done, sir. It's clear playing them together will only end in a disastrous fashion. So he finally learned shit. Finally. But Bradley, his on-ball defense versus Garland and Sexton was tremendous this game. This Cavs team has talented guards on the come-up. And Bradley, along with Austin Reeves, were able to, contain Garland and Sexton, who, are the two primary go-to guys. Bradley's on-ball defense, ball pressuring, and playing the now defense, getting physical, was key to containing the Cavs' offense. As they went on a dry spell offensively later on in this game, especially in the clutch moments of the game in the fourth quarter. So I'm glad Bradley is back, man. I am very glad, Laker fan. The Lakers need that pest on defense, that enforcer who's going to get into guys every game, from 94 feet and on, man. You need a guy like that on this team. We already have talented guards and players who can score the basketball. This is a heavily offensive-minded team, but we need that defense. The Lakers are currently, speaking about defense, they're currently 21st in defensive efficiency and rating. That's terrible, man. And so you're not going to win a lot of games like that. They got to at least at the minimum be in the top 10. They can be much better than that. But it's going to take effort, communication, commitment on everyone's part. Also, Lakers, kept feeding the hot hand, and Carmelo Anthony. This time around, LBJ and others, particularly LBJ, man, wasn't dribbling out the shot clock and taking, poorly contested shots. Within the fourth quarter, he was getting to the rim, getting guys involved, things of that nature. Also, Russ got Melo the ball earlier in the offense, and Carmelo delivered, plain and simple. Melo has been the most consistent guy in the clutch offensively for the Lakers. He's been red hot, so you got to give him the ball. You play to your strengths, and you have him surrounded with defensive players. Because of the fact that the Lakers can score, but they're not good defensively at the moment. You're going to need guys around Carmelo Anthony who could defend the Austin Reeves of the world, the Bradleys, etc., Bazemores. It's a problem. Let's keep it 100 that he can't defend Carmelo Anthony. But if you play defense and you're on a run and you have him in the game around those within spurts, he will deliver. So shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Lakers held a surging Cavs team offensively, another key to the game, to just 42% overall from the field and to just 101 points. Talk about a major upgrade from the Lakers defensively, and that was in the result of Bradley and Reeves on the perimeter and Anthony Davis in the inside. The Lakers in the first quarter were absolutely atrocious taking care of the ball. They had 10 turnovers to start this game. A lot of turnovers on their part, man. Just them, playing too fast. That was the main issue with this, with the Lakers this game, Laker fam. Against a younger team that likes to run, you don't meet them where they're at. You don't play to their strengths and advantages, man. Lakers should have played more in the half court, to begin this game, and ran selectively, especially when they got stops defensively, which they did later on in this game. Vogel needs to implement actual half court sets and have the team play more, nuance within the half court. Especially against, running teams like the Cavaliers. But the lead that the Cavs had, 28-21 going into the second quarter was a result of the turnovers that the Lakers had and the lack of defense they played to start this game. The Lakers went on a major dry spell offensively in addition to not being able to take care of the ball, and the Cavaliers went on a 12-0 run to start taking advantage. Just basketball that was tough to watch, Laker fam. And then on to the second quarter, a lot of the Lakers' defensive problems was a result of guys simply just not guarding their defensive assignment. A lot of times, Carmelo Anthony got lost defensively. LBJ and Mobley marking in, who started the quarter off hot, scoring from three. The pick and roll defense was just non existent. No energy on the defensive end. The defense just takes effort, communication, and will. And the Lakers had none of that to start this game in the first half. I thought Bradley, Reeves, and Dwight Howard changed the dynamic of this game defensively for the Lakers in the second quarter. Monk only played 5 minutes. He only played 5 minutes this game. Vogel needs to continue to, play Reeves and Bradley more, especially Bradley, and only play Malik Monk in spurts until he can improve on the defensive end. Give him more tick, but as of now, give more minutes of his minutes rather to Reeves and Bradley, etc. Guys who are actually producing. So they were both great on the defensive end and energy wise during this game. Little things like getting into the ball handler, pressuring them, fighting over screens, having active hands, sliding your feet makes it tougher for the offense to see, over the defense to get it in the post or get the ball to their teammates. Things of that nature. It can cause turnovers and allow guys to stay on their man as well, so they don't have to rotate and scramble. They had a big impact this game for the Lakers. Vogel, getting in Bradley for Melo, I believe, to put Garland at the late, like 4 or 5 minute mark or something like that, or a 10-minute mark, I think it was, somewhere around there. I could be wrong, but Garland, man, got cuffed. He straight up got cuffed by Bradley. Bradley held Garland scoreless in the second quarter after he had a good first quarter up to about the 10-minute mark, I believe. Yeah, Garland couldn't score a single bucket, which allowed the Lakers to go on and run offensively, and eventually tied this game going into the second half, rather 54-54. Despite the Lakers having 15 turnovers to end the first half, I thought they were very fortunate to not be down big, and that was because of like I said earlier, the defensive energy by Avery Bradley, Austin Reeves, and Dwight Howard. And Russ had some nice reads towards the end of the second quarter in transition to LBJ and off the ball as well. LBJ started to get in the groove offensively, which, it was mainly the reason why offensively the Lakers tied the game going into the second half. And in third quarter, Rubio and Garland was lighting the Lakers up, man. Russ and Bates had trouble containing Rubio and Garland in the third quarter off a pick and roll and, contesting their jump shots, things of that nature. And Rubio, man, he's been a Laker killer over the years on the Jazz and then now to the Cavaliers, man. It just hasn't stopped. But I bet if you signed him on the Lakers, he would lose his jump shot. I bet. But, LeBron settled way too much for three this game. He was like 1 for 10 from three, I believe. He should have been in the post. He should have been in the post a lot more. But to the Cavs' credit, putting Markkanen on LeBron James with his length and height takes away that advantage, which forces LBJ to be, more of a perimeter-oriented player this game. And you have Allen at the rim defensively, so I like the game plan rather by Coach JB Bickerstaff. Mobley was terrific in the third quarter and within this game overall. I've seen comparisons of Chris Bosh. I think he can be there, but only time will tell. The kid has good length, athleticism, and timing on the block. To block shots rather, and just contesting things of that sort. He plays at his own pace as well offensively. He can shoot, can run the floor very well. Good rollman and defend as well. He's a multifaceted tweener per se in terms of being at the wing to a 4, sometimes even a 5 in small ball action. But I like the kid's potential. He had 23 points and gave LBJ and the Laker wing players fits this game. Ran them down the floor. In transition, when the Lakers lost sight of him on the perimeter, he took advantage and hit some open shots. Also he was good for lob action, like I mentioned earlier, in pick and roll, displaying his athletic ability. He's pretty solid at USC, man. And yeah, solid bunnies overall in this game. But the Cavs were up as much as 9 or so due to good offensive stretches by Mobley, Rubio, and Garland. Reeves and Bradley being subbed in once again helped the Lakers defensively in the quarter, helping them to contain Garland and Rubio. Started off the third quarter rather well, and then Melo took advantage of being defended by Kevin Love, who is poor defensively, Melo took him off the dribble, scored at ease a few possessions. The Cavs started to, turn over the ball late in the third quarter due to the defensive pressure of Reeves and Bradley and AD playing at the 5. Their synergy, man, defensively in the third quarter is what helped the Lakers reduce the 9-point deficit. And then Carmelo Anthony started to cook. K. Love offensively. I just love how Reeves was everywhere in the third quarter, man. I believe he had about 2 tie-ups or so with Rubio and Mobley. Kid just understands how to play the game. He rotates, helps, and recovers well. Plays with energy, can hit open shots. He's making it easier, to let go of Alex Caruso, in terms of losing him. Because I myself don't get attached to players. I wish him well. But like I said last game recap, I think Austin Reeves can be better than Caruso, and overall, in my opinion. But obviously, Caruso has him beat on the defensive end. Don't sleep on Reeves, because shit. As of now, he's probably the second to third best defender in his team. Probably the second best perimeter defender behind Avery Bradley. He's been solid on the defensive end. You can just see AD and Russ, embrace Reeves' effort on the defensive end, giving him high fives, talking to him, things of that nature, man. When you have the vets' attention, championship caliber players, Hall of Famers, man, that just goes a long way in terms of how much they respect you and appreciate your efforts. So I love this kid, Austin Reeves, man. Bradley got pumped on that tie-up he had with Mobley. Lakers got the crowd back into the game after being down 9, and they only had like 2 turnovers in the third quarter. Very clean basketball by the Lakers. Lakers closed the third on a 12-0 run, and then they went up into the fourth quarter, 88-85, and then in the fourth quarter, Lakers went on a 4-minute drought offensively, while Mobley and Garland, started to give the Lakers some fits and, help the Cavs go on a surge offensively. Melo broke that spell, I believe, with a 3-point shot in the right corner around the 6-minute mark, which took, a 2-point lead, I believe, 93-91. And then Bradley, when Vogel subbed him in at the 5-minute mark, once again, he put the clamps on Garland, man, forcing him into contested shots. Bradley, again, man, what I love about him is he does what I've been talking about often on this channel and often on social media, Twitter, etc. When he's on the ball defensively, on the perimeter, he starts to crowd the ball handler's space, get into them all over the court. He doesn't relax on the defensive end. It makes it uncomfortable for the ball handler, as you should. His defense on Garland, along with Sexton, was an X factor for the Lakers to go on an offensive surge late in the third quarter, which was led mostly by Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James as well, getting to the cup towards the end of this game. Bradley also hit a big 3-point shot at the 4+ minute mark, and after that, the Lakers went on a run offensively, and their defense continued to be stellar. Lakers at this point was on a 10-0 run. LBJ started to forego jacking up 3-point shots, getting to the cup on the switch with Allen and marketing on him. And with Melo on the perimeter shooting the way he has been shooting, man, that opened up the floor for LeBron James to attack the cup and finish. AD had a fantastic block as well, saving that block shot, saving that layup. I think it was on a scramble, a couple turnovers by both teams that were exchanging. And then all of a sudden, on a transition fast break, what you thought was going to be a layup, AD came out of nowhere and swatted marketing at the rim to help seal this game at the 2+ minute mark. Way not to give up, AD. Way not to give up. So let's get into the player stats and team stats to close out this podcast and game recap. So LBJ with 26 points, 7 turnovers. I think that ankle still may be bothering him, Laker fan, considering he was settling for way too many threes this game, and his explosiveness just looked off to me. He also had 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Carmelo Anthony, he might win 6th man of the year. You never know if he keeps this up, Laker fam. 24 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 6 for 8 from the field. 6 for 8 for 3, rather. 9 or 12 from the field. Hell of an efficient night for Carmelo Anthony. Westbrook, 19 points, 8 for 13 from the field, playing much better offensively with only 4 turnovers. It's an improvement. Still a good amount of turnovers. 3 turnovers is my max as a ball handler, but 4 turnovers compared to 7 or 10 is better, obviously. And also, he had 5 assists and 6 rebounds. AD with 15 points, 3 blocks, 9 rebounds. I thought AD was too quiet offensively this game. He didn't demand the ball and play with energy on the offensive end, but he was, stellar on the defensive end. But he has to assert himself. But nevertheless, like I said, he was solid defensively. especially when he was at the 5 position, taking away guards, attacking the cup, taking away their angles, helping in recovery, hedging, and then along with Bradley as well, ball pressuring the ball handler. He's blocking shots, not allowing Allen to just roll to the rim at ease, things of that nature. So AD did a hell of a job defensively, playing the 5 position and, in the interior. So good job to him. Team stats, Garland only held to 18 points this game. And Sexton, 9 points, 2 for 9 from the field. Game ball definitely goes to Avery Bradley, who did a fantastic defensive job on both guards, who could flat out score the basketball. Shout out to Avery Bradley, man. And the Lakers held the Cavs to 101 points and to only 42% shooting from the field. Good job, fellas. Good job on the defensive end, man. Much better than the last few games. Lakers also had 22 turnovers, but forced the Cavs into 15 turnovers and had 20 points off those 15 turnovers. Lakers were very fortunate to win this game with that amount of turnovers. Usually you don't see a team winning a game with that, 20 plus turnovers or so. But once again, defense is the name of the game, and the Lakers played it this game against the Cavaliers. Lakers 60-44 in points in the paint, absolutely destroyed the Cavs' interior defense, even with Allen at the rim. When you defend, you can get out on a break and things start clicking offensively. But all right, Laker fam, it's a wrap for the game recap. Lakers got Rockets at home twice, I believe, on Sunday, tomorrow, and then Tuesday as well. I believe, should be winnable games. So as long as they defend, we'll be fine. Offense isn't the issue clearly for the Lakers. It's the defense. When you're 21st rated defensively, you got to clean it up, man. You got to defend. You got to commit. You got to communicate and show effort and heart. So that's the Lakers' problem. And they fixed that problem at least temporarily, and hopefully they continue to carry that momentum defensively onto the next games. Comment, like, share, and subscribe on Tony and the Lake Show podcast, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, Laker Nation. Peace out.